Don't know about you, but heartbreak. That's the only word I can think of describing what happened this past weekend. No one knows more about the agony of defeat, but also the triumph of winning more than our guest today in studio, Charles Haley, Pro Football Hall of Famer. You won 5 Super Bowl titles. You won 2 with San Francisco. You get traded to Dallas. You win 3 more. Your last 3 Super Bowl titles are the last 3 Super Bowl titles for the Dallas Cowboys. Charles, what were your emotions? Because I know you still root for the team, but as you saw those players walk off the field knowing another season has gone by with unfulfilled promise, what were your emotions?
Hey, got to go through this again? Hey, I was just thinking about all the questions I was going to get the next day. You know, why this, why that, you know, Jerry this, you know, so all those emotions running through the head.
So, Charles, you're not only one of the best players the game has ever known, you're a student of the game. You still go back and you mentor these young players. You are always at the start in Frisco. You're helping these players not only with the physical part of the game, but the mental part of the game. You've worked with some of their great defensive players on how they can better their skills. But how do you explain a team coming out and falling down 27-0 at home against a team that the whole world knew they were better than the Packers?
That's the problem. They believed they were better than the Packers, and they didn't go out and beat the Packers. Because you believe one thing, but you actually create another thing. I've never been around coaches that didn't hammer that through about winning. That has to be an attitude no matter what. And what most of the guys must have done is they must have had pressure put on them, but it's just a game. When you look at playoff, Super Bowl as just a game, there is no pressure. And I think that was one of the things that was hammered home from Bill Walsh that always impacted my life, and I've been spreading that down ever since.
Bill Walsh, the late great coach and architect of those 49ers dynasties who helped get you started on your Hall of Fame career. Charles, do you think the current players, do you think they have the pressure to try to live up to what the Charles Haleys and the Emmitt Smiths and the Michael Irvins and the Troy Aikmans and the Roger Staubachs and the Randy Whites and the Cliff Harrises and the Drew Pearsons and the Tony Dorsetts have all accomplished?
Well, you know what? Until you hear that magic word, I want to win a Super Bowl, I will win a Super Bowl, then I don't think it's ever going to happen. If their mission is to come in second place or third place, they do that well. But if their mission is to win, then they got to say it. They got to see it, believe it, and they got to dream it and become it. But I don't see that happening. I always walk in and I'm going like, what are you playing for? Nobody answers. You know, and we played together. We had our own different fractions inside the group, but we would go out, eat, break bread together. We'll fight. But you know what? We have one common goal, and that's to win. And that's the attitude that has to be instilled in this next generation of Cowboys.
We're going to, in our next segment, in the next half hour, really going to dive deep into comments by Jerry Jones, comments by one of your Hall of Fame brothers and also part of the Cowboys dynasty of the 90s, Michael Irvin. We're going to talk about some of your charitable missions that you do so well in DFW. But who does the blame fall on? That's the question everybody wants the answer to, Charles. Is it Jerry's fault? Is it Dak's fault? Is it Mike McCarthy's fault? Whose fault is it?
Well, I believe that players, the coaches put the plan together, but the players execute. And so the bottom line, everything falls on the players. The coaches, you know, they've done their part, but the players have to go out there with the right attitude and mentality to go out there and dominate.
Much more coming out from Hall of Famer Charles Haley This man speaks straight from the heart, and you don't want to miss what he has to say in our next half hour. Meantime, Dominis, on Sunday, they had that roof closed at AT&T Stadium, but man, that feeling we have right now regarding our Cowboys, we're all frozen.
Yeah,
Maybe they should have opened
the
the roof up to cool off the Green Bay Packers.
Right. We are your official Cowboy station. Round two, our interview this morning, live in studio with Pro Football Hall of Famer Charles Haley. You won the last 3 Super Bowl titles with the Dallas Cowboys, and they haven't won one since. And this is not going to be the year. Whereas every year we say this could be the year. Charles, as they walked off the field, what do you imagine? I know you can't necessarily speak for the guys, but what do you imagine those players were feeling as they walked off that field Sunday at AT&T Stadium?
Well, I can just tell you from when we were going for our 3rd Super Bowl and we played the 49ers NFC Championship and we lost. When I got in the locker room, I was so dejected, I retired.
Wow.
So that tells you that emotion that goes through. But then 24 hours later, I was back on the Cowboys. So you just get dejected, and you feel like the world against you now.
Well, no one is more dejected than Cowboys owner, president, and general manager Jerry Jones. Hey, Charles, I want you to react to what Jerry had to say. But first, I want you to listen to what he had to say at the conclusion of that devastating loss.
What I'm zeroed in on is the fact that I thought we were in a position, everybody in this room thought we were in a position to advance this thing in the playoffs and maybe get as far as our dreams might take us. We didn't do it. I don't have any thoughts about the reasons why or anything to do with the coaching, anything to do about the players.
Charles, you know, politically correct, Jerry Jones, he never comes out immediately after the season ends and says, I'm going to make this move, this move, this move. We know he does make moves when he feels he has to. What do you imagine he's feeling right now?
I know he's feeling hurt, pain, because, you know, he wants to win. He wants to win now. He feels like he put enough tools around the Cowboys in order to win. But, you know, listening to him, it's that 24-hour rule. You don't talk because you're emotionally fired up. You wait 24 hours, and then you're able to see things a little bit clearer.
Do you personally expect Mike McCarthy to be back?
Yes.
Why?
He's a good coach. And this is the first year he's taken over the offense. Let me just give y'all this knowledge so everybody can understand. I played with the 49ers for 8 years. We ran the West Coast offense. We ran the same defense for all those years. When we came to the Cowboys, for the 5 years I was here, we ran the same offense, same defense. So when you get a team that don't have to think about where you line up at, how do you play, that's when you start winning. That's the winning attitude. When you look at Andy Reid, it's the same offense that he had in Philly. Mm-hmm. So once guys get used to our offense or defense, it's easy. But when they make a change now, you don't know if the head coach can run a 3-4 or 4-3. All personnel got to change. So it's a lot goes into it. And they already got to pay. They already got some people they need to pay.
So Charles Haley expected Mike McCarthy to be back. A lot of people, you know, think that may have very well been the last game he coached as a Dallas Cowboy. Now, I'm going to share with you, Charles, one of your former teammates on those Cowboys teams, that dynasty of the 90s, that team that won 3 Super Bowls in a 4-year span, Pro Football Hall of Famer Michael Irvin. Here's what he had to say.
When I got here, I understood the men before me. They built the Dallas Cowboys. They made this America's team. They put a championship on the table before I got here. My job while I was here is to match what they have done to us. They built it. They handed it to me. Put my championship on the table. That's all we ask. Put your championship on the table, and you couldn't do it. All that gotta go.
He's saying everybody got to go.
Well, you know, Mike got a big mouth, so hey, everybody understands that. And you know what? Michael planned for the fans. Everybody ain't got to go. It's just that everybody's going through the pain of shock. Everybody believed that this was the year, and you know what? It didn't happen. Guys was not ready to play. They go out there and they get their head beat in.
Charles, one thing before we let you run, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about all the wonderful work you do in Dallas, Fort Worth, and North Texas. Your Tackle Tomorrow Foundation, not only do you give out hundreds and hundreds of turkey dinners during Thanksgiving, we covered that event, you also do it during Christmas. Your Tackle Tomorrow Foundation sponsors 8 Dallas ISD inner city elementary schools. You provide GEDs for parents who haven't had a chance to finish their high school degrees and diplomas. You do so much work. You provide laptops to kids who need them. Tell us about this event you have coming up in April and how that's going to benefit the community as well.
Wow. We got Nelly is committed to come to play in our poker tournament in April 17th. That's going to be a great event. I'd be remiss not to thank Albertsons for all the money, all the food that they've given us. Acme Brick, their dedication to Tackle Tomorrow. Hey, it's not about Charles Haley. It's about helping these kids to learn to read so they can learn what power is. Because you know what? When you can read, you have power. And then you can break the cycle of ignorance. We have given so much to the parents, they don't feel like they could ever get out. But if we can give the new generation that drive the will to overcome anything, that's what my mom did for us, me and my brothers. She dreamed something for us, but she told us we got to go get it. And that's what I try to tell these kids. We can only give you so much. Now, you have to walk. You have to create. Don't walk down the path that others have. Create your own trail. And that's what we're doing.
Charles, and that's why everybody in North Texas loves you.
Oh my God, they love me because I'm a bad boy.
For that too.
I know that's right.
But you've done so much. You've done so much for so many people. You're a walking inspiration. Pro Football Hall of Famer Charles Haley, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for being honest with us. Hey, I get a hug. Oh man. Charles, you got makeup on your hands now.
I know, you ugly, I know. We good. That's what love is all about.
I love this man.